Well, the races are at Flemington in Victoria here this weekend, but it's fair to say most of the attention will be up north at Randwick, where we've got the Doncaster Mile, the AJC Oaks and the Galaxy Stakes for the sprinters. Steve, Moran from Best Bets, looks like a fantastic day's racing up there in Sydney.
Certainly is, Brad. Looking forward to it. Hopefully the Victorians can play a hand again, as we've done reasonably well through the early part of the Sydney Autumn Carnival. We've got Aloha, of course, sneaking around with 51.5 in the Doncaster for Mick Price. Interesting to see John Singleton, the owner of More Joyous, naming Aloha as perhaps the wild card to his brilliant mare. Handicap conditions I know, but I think there's a couple of very strong precedents for More Joyous, not the least of which is her own win under these conditions in the Toorak last spring, carrying 58. Admittedly, this Doncaster field is stronger than the Toorak. She has 57. She's building this imposing winning record. I don't think the handicaps will stop her necessarily in this race. Maybe some bad luck in running could. Given the nature of these big handicaps in Sydney, you'll always get a couple at odds sneaking into it somewhere. I think Aloha is certainly amongst those candidates. A couple of others, one at big odds, Syrian for Chris Waller, the man who just keeps training winners up there. I do like horses having had a run at 2,000 metres coming back to these big mile handicaps, and Syrian fits the bill there. He might be a good roughie. I thought another was perhaps Sacred Choice if the rain continues up there. We saw her win so impressively at Flemington through the Spring Carnival. She's another at odds in the Doncaster. I think will run well. Love Conquers All, terrific record at Randwick. But I think if everything's on song, if she gets the right run in transit, she's still the one to beat, More Joyous.
Yeah, that's why she's a short price favourite. Aloha, Victoria's only representative there in the Doncaster Mile on Saturday. It's a different story in the AJC Australian Oaks, where Victoria supplies the two horses at the top of the betting, Shamrocker and Brazilian Pulse. Do you think those two will fight it out?
Possibly. They, of course, fought out the VRC Oaks here in Melbourne in the spring. Shamrocker, of course, coming off that stunning Derby win last week. It's an interesting race. I'm curious to hear Danny O'Brien say that he thinks this assignment this week is possibly tougher than taking on the boys last week. Brazilian Pulse, just a little hiccup or two in her preparation, but I think her last run, when she had a very torrid run in transit, was still very solid. They did Quinella the Oaks with a fairly clear margin to the others. We do know that they have the established staying capacity. They are the two to beat. Mirajilsa Lass, I think, will run a terrific race, particularly if the track comes up rain affected. Absolutely is another interesting runner from Victoria for Mick Kent, also nom for Flemington on Saturday. I know that Mick thinks she's done fantastically well since she ran in Adelaide, which is why he's nominated for the Oaks. So I'm not sure as we speak whether a final decision has been made. I think the Oaks is chock full of interest. Nailing me to the wall, I think you've probably got to say Shamrocker.
And what about the Galaxy? Hortensia, it was a story of heartbreak for Hortensia last year in the Galaxy. Can she redeem herself this year?
Yes, it was interesting, wasn't it? I'm sure the camp and Tony Noonan still recovering. No penalty imposed on the trainer after losing the race last year, which was a bitter pill to swallow. Similar circumstances it looks this year, does it not? Drawn out, she'll be at the tail, she'll be charging late. He's deliberately kept her fresh for this. This has been the target for some time. I think she's certainly capable of winning. I think Mark Kavanagh's 3-year-old Shrapnel, I think, might have really turned the corner in the last few weeks. His win in Adelaide was terrific, backed off the map that day, and won accordingly. He was most impressive of the locals. Solid Charged, I think, will run well. Others with claims in the race, certainly King Pulse. Now, he's an interesting runner. Is Black Caviar breaking the hearts of all these horses behind her? Will King Pulse set the record straight? And I thought the other intriguing runner, Brad, was Thank God You're Here, that they're having a crack first up at a race like the Galaxy, and his ability to find the line in his last prep was really something quite stunning, overcoming difficulties and just getting there. Great race, the Galaxy. Pattern of racing late in the day might play a part in the outcome of this race also.
Yeah, it certainly shapes as a fantastic day's racing up there at Randwick on Saturday. All the tips, you'll find them in Best Bets. If you're having a punt, good luck.